Hey yo, what is going on, you guys? It's your boy Aceox. I'm back with another reaction. This time I'm going to react to Submechanophobia, Fear of the Submerged by Crescendex. It's been a while since we watched a Crescendex video, so I thought, you know what, let's do it. I've had this on the Watch Later playlist for quite some time, so I'm excited to see what this is all about. I know about the phobia, the Submechanophobia. It's, if I remember correctly, it's about man-made objects in deep waters or something like that. I don't have that fear, pretty sure. So yeah, I'm excited to find out what exactly it is, how it works, why people have this sort of phobia, what exactly about all that triggers them. Yeah, and who else better than Crescendex to tell us all about this topic, right? Yeah, alright. But before we start, I gotta mention a couple of things quickly. I've been having difficulty recording stuff and editing stuff in time and stuff like that. My setup is still not finished, unfortunately. I still need to hang up some curtains that deaden the sound, that just make the reverb less pronounced, and for that I gotta buy some weird tracks I gotta install on the roof so I can hang it, you know, from the roof of the room. The roof of the room. Room. It's me, biker Aceox. Yeah, so yeah, it's not finished yet. I still gotta finish the whole setup thing, so yeah, until then, I guess it'll be a gamble whether or not I make a new video or not and upload it in time, but I guess we'll see. I just want to mention that because I've been missing my upload schedule quite a lot of times in the recent few weeks, and yeah, today maybe you'll hear a couple of sounds in the background of this recording. I don't know, maybe not, maybe. It depends how loud it is. It sounds like, yeah, all my neighbors are at home, so yeah, you know. It might get a bit loud. But yeah, enough about all that. Before we start, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Crescendex. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him, what if I were submerged underwater? I'm a man-made man. Would you be scared of me, huh? Crescendex, my boy? Does that thought scare you? Then I know what I'll do next. Yeah. Tell him that, and obviously subscribe to him. He deserves it. He makes some really good videos. We already know that. We know that all too well. And without further ado, let me scroll up for you real quick and go into full screen mode and... Hold on, huh? Why is it... No, I'm trying to zoom out. Hold on. Let's just do it like this. Boom. There we go. Alright, let's check real quick. Alright, normal speed, 1080p, normal English track, stable volume is not available. Alright, okay. So, without further ado, here we go!
The fear of deep water is, at least to me, the most justified or rational fear out there. Looking at things like this, seeing the depths water truly goes down to is a very...
Yeah, that I can understand.
...to somebody who isn't afraid of deep waters. Thalassophobia is the fear of deep waters.
Yeah,
pretty
I sort of have that.
Most people stop at the simple fear of deep waters, but some go further. There are some hyper-specific fears related to water, but there is a fear of water that makes sense on a level that's hard to explain. It is a fear not of the water itself, but the contents of it. And not anything scary like sea creatures or large eldritch abominations just below.
Yeah, it's the vastness,
rather
the darkness, the murkiness.
Underwater. You may find things like submarines or shipwrecks cool, but some people would say otherwise.
Alright, that's creepy. that was creepy.
Are absolutely terrifying. This condition, a condition that isn't as rare as you might expect, has often been referred to as submechanophobia.
Alright. I guess I pronounced it wrong, but I don't care. It's me, Aceox, I pronounce stuff wrong, yeah.
Objects or structures underwater. This can range from the underbelly of ships to flooded buildings. To someone without submechanophobia, this fear can seem rather irrational. I bet most people can at least understand thalassophobia. Being in an oceanic abyss like this would probably scare most people. The fear of submerged man-made objects, however, seems to be way too specific to be a fear that a large amount of people have. However, you would be wrong about that. The subreddit for Submechanophobia has over 550,000 members.
Damn, okay.
Seeing it have millions of views, with comments explaining how they never knew this fear had a name. There is a clear community of people who fear submerged man-made objects. But why? What makes the
good question.
Things are submerged so much
Tell us.
than if they weren't? Well, I think a lot of it comes down to context. Images of submerged man-made objects are similar to liminal spaces in a way. Liminal spaces are transitional places devoid of people that...
Yeah, but do people fear liminal spaces? I know it makes you feel weird. It feels uncanny. It feels off, but also kind of nostalgic in a strange way. But you're not really afraid of that, right? Are people afraid of liminal spaces? Because then I can't relate either. Because I find liminal spaces just weird. Weird, but interesting, but not scary, not spooky, not terrifying. While he was talking about the submechanophobia, I realized that I haven't had it in a long time. Knock on wood. Yeah. I had a recurring nightmare of... There's a level in Mirror's Edge where you're in the sewers or something like that, and there is this one specific part where you gotta either be really lucky and jump over a giant gap after a waterfall slide type thing, or you gotta shimmy across a very small ledge and the water falls into it and it's just absolute darkness. If you look down, it's just darkness. It disappears into darkness. And for some reason, this specific area in the game, maybe I can find it. I'll try and see if I can find a picture of it later in post and put it in here. If not, then unfortunately I couldn't find it. But yeah, if I find it for context, I'll put it in here then. Right now. Did I put it in? I don't know. I guess we'll find out. But yeah, it's for some reason this specific structure gave me absolute recurring awful nightmares. And it's still, just the thought of it just makes me very uncomfortable. Because in my nightmares, I fell down that hole. And just the idea of landing in a pool of water while water is still, falling down onto you all around you. And you're in pitch black. And, combined with the fact that it's dark and loud, you can't really hear anything. Because the water is so loud falling from the weird water slide thing. It's all around you. You can't see anything. You can't hear anything. You can't really feel anything because you're submerged in water, I guess, and in a strange place. And I don't know what it is, but it just the thought alone really freaks me out. Being in a place like that, stuck, and no one would be able to hear you. Even if you yell for help, first of all, no one's gonna be there because in the case of Mirror's Edge, you're running away, trying to escape. So yeah, there's not really anyone around, especially in that part. And also, no one would hear you even if there was someone. The water is so loud and it's in this weird chute, I guess, and it reverberates so strong that you probably can't hear anything, no matter how loud you'd scream. And that's terrifying. If I think about it, if it wasn't a man-made chute where the water falls into the sewage water or whatever, I don't know. It's this weird treatment facility in the game. I'm not familiar with how that stuff works, so yeah, I don't know what to call it. If we just change the context slightly and instead of this weird sewage treatment man-made facility type thing, if we replace it with a cave, say, it's built the same way, but it's a cave, a natural cave. I don't find that thought nearly as creepy or disturbing or terrifying as the man-made version. I don't know why. It's a very specific thing, and I'm pretty sure it's not submechanophobia. I guess it's a mixture of different types of phobias, like the fear of the dark, and also, I guess, the fear of not being able to rely on your senses, because you can't really hear anything over the loud crashing sound of the water. You can't see anything because it's dark. You can't feel your way around because you're submerged in water and you're surrounded by waterfalls. So all you feel is water, and I guess being alone and no one coming to help you. I guess it's a culmination of all these things that makes it so creepy. But like I said, for some reason, it has to be this weird man-made structure similar to the level in Mirror's Edge. Otherwise, it does not terrify me as much. Sure, that terrifies me just thinking about, being stuck in a cave like that, but it's kind of different terrified feeling. I guess it kind of has to do with the fact that people aren't supposed to be in those man-made structures. It's like being, I don't know, inside a pipe or something like that, right? You're not really supposed to be in there, and I guess that's what adds to the terrifying factor of it all, for me at least. The fact that you're in a place that's not natural, that's put it like that. It's not natural, it's man-made, and it's not meant for people to be inside. But yeah, I just wanted to mention that. Sorry for yapping on for so long, but I thought that would be interesting to mention because I have no clue why, but I have this very specific fear. This extremely specific one. Now you know my deepest, darkest fears. So please don't use it against me or I'm gonna cry and call you an asshole. And not a beautiful one at that. A hairy, crusty, shit-covered asshole that's prolapsed with fucking anal fissures and hemorrhoids hanging out. And a piece of shit sticking out as well. So don't. Unless you wanna be exactly what I just described. But I can't imagine you want that. No one does. Disgusting. Who took a shit and didn't flush? Disgusting. Alright, let's continue.
Feel nostalgic. Things like abandoned malls, hallways, and old
liminal
office
spaces.
buildings, to name a few examples. At first glance, liminal spaces and submechanophobia seem to be completely different, so you might be confused as to why I bring this up.
I wouldn't
Bring liminal spaces into
exactly
this
call that.
because, just like submerged man-made objects, liminal spaces lack context.
Yeah.
Just like it's weird to focus on a school hallway as anything more than a point of transition between two rooms, it's weird seeing man-made things in such a hostile environment that it wasn't designed for.
Yeah.
A sort of uncanny feeling is present.
It's out of place.
Because submechanophobia depicts things underwater that shouldn't be, which is why I think it needs to be a man-made object specifically. It wouldn't be unusual to see a large rock or some coral underwater.
True.
But seeing something like a warning sign would certainly raise some questions. Why is it there? Who put it there? Until the fear of the unknown starts to set in.
Oh, say that mine?
So vast that our attempts to explore it with our meager land-made technology is ultimately futile. Nothing proves this inability to conquer the sea more than one of the biggest triggers of submechanophobia: shipwrecks. Shipwrecks are ways of the ocean telling us to know our place. They are a living proof of our inability to conquer the sea, but it's much more than that. As I said earlier, shipwrecks are a big trigger for submechanophobia, and it isn't hard to see why. No matter how advanced our seafaring technology.
I mean, it makes sense, because a ship is supposed to stay on water, and seeing it underwater in itself is kind of terrifying, because it implies that, well, it sunk. And the people that are on there are no longer alive, probably. So that I can understand. It doesn't really terrify me seeing this. It's just kind of sad, I guess. It kind of makes me sad, because there were alive people on there, and they might not be alive after what happened. And it's also this strange irony of structure we created that's supposed to stay above waters, being deep submerged in water. I guess it's a strange, uncanny irony in all that. So I can sort of understand that. But for example, the pictures of the tanks underwater, I just find that cool. That looks really cool, really strange, because why? How? What? How do tanks end up this deep in the water? It's mind-boggling. Yeah, I like it. I don't find it spooky. The sign he showed and stuff like that, I don't find it scary. I find it peculiar. I find it interesting. Makes me want to ponder how these things ended up in there. Like I ponder about why my penis is small. I still have no answer for that, by the way. Yeah, it's kind of anticlimactic. Like when I jerk off and then edge myself. Yeah.
Gets, no matter how good we get at exploring the sea, our failures still elude us in the form of these underwater monsters. Oftentimes, these massive underwater ships get reclaimed by the ocean. Artificial reefs are usually what shipwrecks are destined to become. Artificial reefs are a phenomenon in which a ship or any other man-made structure underwater
beautiful
salvaged
in a
by
way.
the ocean. Fish use them as homes. Reefs grow on their windows and their handrails. On a surface level, shipwrecks are
It's funny to think that the whole point of a ship is to stay above water and to house people. And usually when you think that of something submerged, it's broken, it's useless, it's lost its purpose. But I find it interesting about nature in general, the fact that nature just incorporates it into its ecosystems and everything. And the creatures that live there, for example in the ocean, the fish and everything, and the corals and reefs and whatever the shit, use it as their new habitat. habitat, which I find actually really cool, because there's something I find very sad. It's a thing that has been made for a specific purpose, not having a purpose anymore because no one is using it anymore for that. Like, for example, I don't know, shoes, right? We all know how shoes are used, what their usage case is, and just seeing discarded shoes kind of gives me a weird, sad feeling, because I know that they were created for a purpose and no one uses them for that purpose anymore. No one finds joy with them anymore, you know, and it's kind of sad for me. And to see that it's being reused by, maybe not by humans, but by fish, or if it's on land creatures and everything, and incorporated by nature itself into its own systems and being reclaimed and repurposed, I find that oddly beautiful. I find it very, very, very beautiful fucking full. But I'm a weird guy, so yeah. In case you were wondering why, maybe that's why. Did you think about that? No, you didn't. Huh, now you know. I just mansplained that shit, yeah. But I'll take a quick break and I'll be back in a second. Don't go anywhere, alright? You fucking cutie pies, you fucking bitches, yeah. Imagine a giant submerged anus. Now that sends shivers down my spine. Shiver me timbers, ooh.
Almost sad, thinking about the people that once inhabited them.
Yeah, that's what I meant, yeah.
Down in places we couldn't get to, it isn't hard to think about the fact that bodies could still be present in these shipwrecks.
Yeah.
Probably warped by the ocean's decay. On a deeper level, however, no pun intended, shipwrecks are a sign of how primitive we truly are when faced with the ocean. How
Yeah.
technology, no matter how advanced, is delicate in comparison.
Nature is still better.
Not like outer space in that.
Better than us.
The men that went to the moon did so in a fragile tin can, being backed up by the computers with a combined total
I
of
would
4
never.
kilobytes of RAM, thousands of times less powerful
Jesus,
than the phone
alright.
in your pocket. Which makes me
Okay, that's a funny, interesting
objects in space.
fact.
I mean, the deep sea and the vast expanse of outer space aren't very different. So why does one phobia have millions of people backing it up and the other doesn't even exist? Because I think there's a big distinction between space exploration and deep sea exploration. Outer
Yeah.
space is far from us. It's likely that nobody watching this video has ever been to outer space, but I bet the vast majority of you have visited the ocean. Humans in the ocean are a lot more intertwined than humans in outer space. So seeing ships destroyed at sea, or any other large object underwater for that matter, feels a lot more personal than, say, a video of Voyager 2 traveling through space. We like to think we know Earth pretty well, yet the oceans still remain a mystery to us. A fear of the unknown, not caused by planets or stars, but by something right here on the very planet we call home, almost as if there were two worlds on one planet. And our attempts to breach into that other world and fill it.
Ugh, no. That's also something I find scary. If you turn off the lights and you're stuck in there, no. That's kind of similar to what I was describing with the structure in Mirror's Edge, but still different. It's too huge. But still, this is kind of similar, and I don't like it. It's not the water, it's also like, what is that? It looks like a place you're not really supposed to be in, but then again, you know, there are these stairs here, and I don't know, it's kind of weird. And then the murky water, of course. Who knows what's in there, how deep it actually goes. That's the true horror, in my opinion, about this. Ugh, no. This one actually gives me the creeps. Sends shivers. Sends shivers down my timbers. Hold on, did it make sense? Is it the timbers? Shiver me timbers. Is the timbers meant to be the legs or bones? Oh, the bone. It could be the bones, right? It sends shivers down your bones. Makes you go all rattly like a skeleton. Going like... Okay, that was more like a space alien. There was glorb, the inner glorb coming out of my my asshole. God damn it.
World and fill it with the structures we make in our own world, and failing to do so is, to me, what the main root of submechanophobia is. If you don't have submechanophobia, it might be hard to see why people are so afraid of these things.
Yeah.
But if you think about it rationally, deep oceans themselves are scary.
Yeah, that I understand.
Or some old diving gear would certainly be a sign of danger. Why are these abandoned things just underwater like this? That's one of the main questions submechanophobia asks. And the simple fact that there are so many abandoned decaying things
That is also kind of creepy. But it's the tiles. I don't know what it is, but the tiles kind of give me the creeps. Ugh. No, I don't like it. But then again, it's not because it's underwater. It's the tiles. I don't know what it is, but it gives me hospital vibes. Even though it's probably a submarine or something like that because of the door. Maybe a ship. Could be a shipwreck as well. I don't like the tiles combined with the fact that it has these square or rectangular baths. I could imagine there being water inside. No, I don't like it. No. That's what creeps me out, not everything else. Once again, that's AceoX style. And I have no clue why. It is just very uncomfortable looking. I don't like it.
Down here gives off the feeling that you might be next. So there is a logical reason why people fear man-made objects underwater in places like the deep ocean. But these places don't have to be natural in order to trigger submechanophobia. They can also be in places like abandoned, flooded buildings. I consider flooded buildings, especially abandoned ones, to be an almost subgenre of submechanophobia.
I find that kind of beautiful. I don't know why.
Propeller underwater, it's instead a place, just like the place you're watching this video in, except underwater. To people with submechanophobia, that's...
I know I keep pausing, but dude, we already know that. If you watched some of my reactions to Crescentex's videos, I pause a lot because I have a lot to say. His videos, for some reason, are very inspiring to me. More so than any other videos I've seen so far. That's right up my alley. Right up my alley? Like my elbow up my ass. Did that make sense? No, pretty sure it didn't. But that's the beauty. That's the beauty of AceoX style. No one understands it, not even myself. It's beautiful, a thing of beauty. But yeah, let's go back to the topic at hand. I find flooded buildings or flooded just man-made structures in general actually kind of beautiful. Even like this, you know, it's dirty, it's grungy, it's kind of disgusting, dilapidated, old, abandoned, damaged. But with the water, I feel like it gives it some charm. I can't really put it in words, but I find it kind of, yeah, appealing. It's like the picture he just showed of the shopping mall that's flooded. Also, like, stuff like that. Yeah, I find it really beautiful in a way. Because in most of these pictures, it's not water where creatures really live in. So there is not really any movement. And so it's clear, kind of. Even in this case, you know, you can see the ground, you can see all the things. It's not murky water, it's dirty water, but you can still see through it. And I guess that's what it makes it kind of look beautiful to me. Because it's not the type of water I'm scared of, which is water you can't see through, or you can't see through well, because if it's murky, your mind has the great ability to see shapes and think there is something that actually isn't there. Like the thing our brains does sometimes, where we see faces in things where there are no faces. You know, it's just the mind makes it up. So yeah, I find clear water in flooded places actually beautiful. That's something I built in Minecraft a lot. It's no joke. I usually build bases underground and then flooded them. So it's not that you swim in them, it's more like you stand in them. You're not completely submerged. I don't completely submerge my bases in Minecraft, but I just find it beautiful. That's why there's this liminal space thing that the water worlds, I think it's called, or something like that, or the water tunnels, something like that. I find them absolutely beautiful. I wanna see something like that in real life. I don't know if that's even possible, but still, I find that so extremely beautiful. It's a very peculiar taste I have. So yeah, I just wanted to mention, no, I don't find that creepy or weird or sad or anything at all. I actually have positive feelings associated to stuff like this on screen here. This up there. Yeah. I keep repeating myself, so I'm just gonna choke my dick and continue the video.
It's a scary thought. There are many examples of flooded...
Look at this. It's just kind of...
mall in Bangkok, Thailand.
This I don't like.
Example of one of them. It was abandoned in 1994, and as of 2022,
actually,
it's yet to be demolished. However, the roof was taken
out,
allowing rain to get in, flooding the building. The locals then decided to put fish in the water.
Damn.
And as of right now, it's a flooded, abandoned mall that still harbors life in the form of fish. And this mall is...
That's kind of cool, but...
...on the Submechanophobia subreddit.
Alright, okay. You see, this type of water, no, I don't like that. I don't like that. It's on the verge of being creepy to me, because it is sort of see-through, but it's still kind of also murky. And that I don't like. That's why still water, to me, is the creepiest thing ever. Because still water in abandoned places can sometimes just look like a ground, like a solid ground. Because there's no movement at all. And it looks just, it's very uncanny. It's very weird. Also, the dangers of still water, of course, add to the disgusting, terrifying feeling that it gives me. But yeah, this I don't like. The others, I guess it has to do with the fact how flooded it is. If it is just surface level flooding, so you're basically just, you know, up to your ankles in water, if you'd stand there, then I guess you can see a lot better the ground and everything, and that's more like the things I described I really like. While this one seems like you could probably swim in it and probably dive into it quite deep. So yeah, obviously the deeper it goes, the less see-through it gets, and then it gets scary to me and uncanny and weird.
Examples of flooded abandoned buildings that can trigger submechanophobia. So clearly, people with some.
But that's cool. Look at that. That's cool.
Well, but this fear of flooded places almost seems different compared to the fear of the deep ocean. Anthrophobia is the fear of floods and flooding. It's similar to submechanophobia.
There's also a phobia for that. Okay.
Submerged man-made things, but it seems different.
Yeah, I don't like this.
Buildings still fall under.
This one is on the verge of. All right.
But I get an entirely different feeling seeing a flooded building than I do seeing a shipwreck.
Yeah, me too.
This combined fear of man-made things underwater and a fear of flooding and made things like the pool rooms.
I like that. Look at that.
Sometimes called the dream pools.
Yeah.
An aesthetic called pool core. They depict
It's beautiful.
Indoor pools. They can be comfortable, dreamlike, or maybe even a touch unsettling.
No, I like that. I like it.
Backrooms. It even has a backrooms level dedicated to it.
Exactly,
Somehow
yeah.
Haven't heard of the backrooms. They are an infinite array of mono yellow hallways for you to get trapped in.
I don't find them creepy. It does not. Sorry, my bad. It does not hit with me. I really cannot relate why people find that creepy or unsettling. I just find it disgusting, you know? It's just the yellow tint and everything. And the carpet flooring and the disgusting wallpaper. Blech. No. I just find it disgusting more than anything. But not creepy. Not creepy, not unsettling. Just disgusting. I can almost smell it, if that makes sense. Blech. No, I don't like it, no. Blech. Get that shit out of my face!
With other levels that are rumored to exist. But the pool rooms are a lot more
Look,
than
it's so good.
Level. They have a big following on sites like Reddit, and you can see why. The concept of an infinite scape of rooms partially flooded is terrifying enough, so it's not hard to see how this relates to submechanophobia. The backrooms are already a terrifying concept, so adding aquatic elements to it, like
this is just
pools all around you.
Okay, this I don't like. No, I like everything else except the part where it gets dark. That I do not like. I admit that one is creepy, but it's because you cannot see the ground. That makes it scary because what could be in there? This is a really weird structure in itself, so there could be something otherworldly down there, and I don't like that thought. Just imagine you see a shadow moving in the dark parts of this fucking picture. No. It reminds me of the squid in Assassin's Creed 2. Ugh. That shit haunted me for a long time. That's exactly the type of thing that scares me. It's just no. So this one I can see why it's spooky.
In a way no human would ever think of if they wanted to practically design a pool. Sometimes these pools can go further than a human can ever reach, and sometimes they can only be shallow enough to reach your knees.
Yeah, that was...
The entirety of the image can be flooded. Sometimes it's only small sections. Either way, it's bizarre. This bizarre, uncanny architecture, combined with the fear of these deep waters and the flooded areas, are what I think make the pool room such a popular topic when it comes to submechanophobia.
Yeah,
Much
I
like
can
the
see that.
Themselves, it's hard to pinpoint the exact thing you should be afraid of in the pool rooms, yet there's always an unsettling feeling.
It's a darkness, I guess.
Combined with the lore of the pool rooms, the fact that these flooded areas go on forever in their strange fashion is a big contributor to the overall vibe of the pool rooms. It's not hard to see why the pool rooms can trigger submechanophobia, but to me at least, I get much more fear from man-made objects in places like the ocean rather than just man-made pools. I'm not alone in this feeling either. Historically, submechanophobia
I can't really relate to that.
For thousands of years. Humans have always...
Dude, that's Hey, yo, what the hell? This, once again, is just a sad, ironic part. You know, seeing an oil rig this close to land, and it looks kind of abandoned. And then there's a cemetery. It's one of those kind of sad, ironic things. Is that a real picture? Because that is a really strange sight.
Submechanophobia has existed for thousands of years. Humans have always told stories of man-made things underwater, the most famous example being the rumored lost city of Atlantis. But there are proven great ancient cities that are now underwater.
Yeah,
The ancient Egyptian city of Thonis Heraclean. Thonis Heraclean used to be a great port city on the Mediterranean Sea, but now remains underwater. 64 ships, 700 anchors, and many 16-foot tall statues were discovered. Of course, this was an incredible discovery, but to think that this exists. 64 full-sized ships and statues, 3 times the size of a normal person, all existing underwater is a horrifying thought.
I find that depressing.
I think this example of an underwater city with all these huge things is one of the first times I can completely relate to someone with submechanophobia. I don't think I have submechanophobia, but sometimes with examples like these, I seem to prove myself wrong. Just the thought that someone...
No, I can't relate. I find it sad.
Civilization long forgotten exists, rotting away underwater, artificial reefs growing on the heads of...
Yeah, it's depressing, man.
Years ago. The ocean reclaiming something...
These things were built to be appreciated and be seen. They had a use, and in places like this, they no longer have that use. I find that sad, man. I find that sad. I don't find it creepy at all, strangely enough. I don't know, it's just imagine how much time and work people put just into this statue alone. And it's rotting at the bottom of the ocean, it seems. No, it's sad. I find that really sad.
That was once ours. Submechanophobia or not, this is a scary thought. Our inability to control what happens to the things we create underwater is one of the many reasons you'll never catch me going into something like a submarine.
Yeah, me neither. I wouldn't. It's just no.
Ocean. And the thought of being inside one terrifies me.
The deepest part of the oceans, I don't think, no, you're not supposed to explore them. No. No. So I would never. You could offer me $1 billion. I wouldn't. No. Because you have to relinquish all control you have over your life just to... Why? You know? If something happens down there, you're fucked. You're fucking fucked. Don't mess with nature, man. I really cannot relate to people that enjoy going beyond than what's normal, I guess. Because it's just you're challenging nature. And nature is strong. It's strong, it's strong-willed, it's terrifying at times. And you stand no chance, man. You're at the whims of nature. And that's something, no, you cannot convince me. You cannot bribe me. You couldn't even force me. I cannot say, hold on. I'd stone myself if you'd force me to challenge nature like this. There we go. Yeah, that shouldn't be picked up by the AI, right? The YouTube AI algorithm. Yeah, or maybe it does. I don't know. But either way, yeah, no. You couldn't make me. Even if you forced me, I'd find a way to disobey. Cause no, fuck no. Fuck no. Same with space. No matter how fascinating and interesting I find the topic of just space exploration in general, it's something you don't mess with. We are nowhere close to the level we'd have to be in terms of civilization, advancements, I guess, technology, all that sort of stuff, to properly explore space. And until then, no, you're just begging to be swallowed by nature, by space, by time, being stretched into every tiny fiber of your being across the 4th dimension and swallowed by a black hole and shit like that, and your head pops because of the pressure and everything. But also no thanks, not interested. Fuck you.
Scary, of course, but a lot of them take place on land. They take place in an environment we can control. But one of the scariest games I've ever played doesn't put you in a familiar environment. It
I heard
horror on the unfamiliar and terrifying thought.
A lot of positive things about this game.
Iron Lung is one of, if not the scariest game I've ever played. It uses its environment and the fear of being in a submarine perfectly. The lore is pretty simple. Pretty much every single planet and star suddenly vanished in an event called the Quiet Rapture. The only humans that survived were those in spaceships, but for whatever reason, moons started appearing. Moons filled with oceans of blood. You are a convict of one of the spaceships that tasked you with exploring the blood oceans in a rickety, rusty submarine. A submarine that was not made for depths like these. And if you make it back, you get your freedom. Your task is to navigate to points of interest on a map and take photos. But instead of always knowing where you are on the map, you instead have to plot out your coordinates to tell you where you are. However, the entire time,
the fact that you're kind of blind is
you randomly get
definitely unnerving.
A solid object sensor that something is near your sub, but when you check the map, you realize that no walls are around you. Sometimes you get flung to parts of the map without warning, until you eventually take a picture of a point of interest and get greeted by this. You continue to venture to the last few points of interest. Your oxygen starts running low, pipes begin to burst, and fires start in the vessel. Once you start approaching the last point of interest, your submarine starts filling up with blood from the ocean outside. Then once you turn around to take a picture of the last point, this happens. Iron Lung is scary for many reasons, but I think the main one is the environment. It's a literal ocean of blood, which also brings...
you cannot escape, you know?
Photos you take,
you cannot run from this place.
At first you see bones,
that's what makes it definitely scary.
Pipes, until eventually coming across what looks to be buildings fully submerged in this blood ocean. Who built these structures? Why are they here? Every picture you take, every groan of the submarine, every time your sensor goes off without any walls nearby to trigger it, it further adds to the fear of the unknown and makes you question your surroundings even more. A note on the ground.
I guess that puts it pretty well why I find the room, the specific structure I talked in length in this video about in Mirror's Edge, is because of the inherent blindness when it comes to your senses if you're stuck in that room, right? The fact you cannot escape, you cannot see, you cannot fucking hear well, you cannot really feel anything, and it's the same being in this strange submarine in this game. You know, you have to relinquish your sense control and everything to the submarine itself and the whims of whatever is surrounding it, you know? And that's something I really find scary. It's giving away the control over basic things like, for example, just being able to see. In that case, you know, if you want to see, you have to take one of these weird pictures, right? And you gotta use a map and use the radar, but you cannot really just, you know, look outside. You cannot just do that. And that's what spooks me, you know, that it's literally the unknown out there. And you have to rely on shitty technology to somehow make up for your loss of senses, I guess, in a way. And that's scary. That's scary. No. I don't like that. No. Alright, I gotta stop the recording real quick, and I'll be back in a second. Don't worry about it. It does not concern you. Fuck you. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be mean. I'm sorry, man. Fuck you. Still. Dude, I swear. Every time I pick a Crescendix video, I'm like, oh, okay, this one's quite short. This shouldn't be a too long reaction. And then I keep yapping on and on and on. I just can't help myself. He's inspiring. God damn it. God damn you, Crescendix. You and your inspired ability of being very inspiring. That's very wow. Alright, let's continue.
Found in the Iron Lung reveals that you were never supposed to make it back. The only way to have your freedom in a world without stars is to die down here.
Yeah, so you basically know your
Inside
fate
alone and
already.
man-made submarine in a vast ocean of blood. Even as somebody without submechanophobia, this game is scary, but I imagine it would be even more terrifying to someone with submechanophobia.
Yeah, definitely.
Blood, not just far from any land, but far from anyone. Not just alone in the ocean, but alone on a celestial body covered in ocean.
Yeah, that makes it even worse, to be honest.
Civilization and buildings. Unlike the games I usually review in these videos, Iron Lung isn't free. It's $6 on Steam. Even if I spoiled some of it here, I recommend it, especially if you have submechanophobia.
Yeah, I've seen
such a unique idea.
pretty much everything there's to see about this game.
As always,
but still,
a link to the Steam page will be left in the description.
Hell yeah.
Another thing that can trigger submechanophobia is underwater animatronics. There are plenty of examples of theme parks featuring animatronics underwater.
I can sort of see that.
Branch of submechanophobia. Searching up submechanophobia animatronics on YouTube yields videos with millions of views, with some people even thinking submechanophobia is the fear of underwater animatronics, even though it isn't. And it isn't hard to see why. The fear of animatronics makes a lot more sense
no, I don't like this, no.
Underwater.
This is exactly what I don't like.
You can make the submechanophobia aspect even worse. Not only is it a man-made thing on
Damn, that's kind of cool.
animatronic
No!
feels alive, yet
No!
animatronics and
No! This is all the sort of stuff I don't like. The water, ugh, and then these weird, fucking disgusting looking animatronics. It's no, no. Stop showing these pictures. I don't like this. I don't like this anymore. I want to stop, please. I don't like this. This is the kind of stuff I don't like. This is the one that terrifies me.
look and feel
Ugh.
with their robotic movements and lack of consciousness.
No, I don't know.
Why putting them in an out of context place, for example,
Ugh.
would be scary. It's almost double uncanny.
Okay, that's kind of goofy looking.
Mixed in with the uncanniness of man-made objects.
The water again. Ugh.
My favorite being this giant animatronic squid in Disneyland Paris. I think even to people without submechanophobia, animatronics underwater are still a fairly scary thought.
Yeah.
These lifeless, yet moving robots mixed in with the mysteriousness of water makes underwater animatronics feel almost like a monster in the dark.
Yeah.
When it isn't meant to scare.
Okay, that's goofy. That's goofy as hell.
Phobia is one of those fears that people misrepresent. It's not a fear of one man-made thing underwater in particular. It's not a fear of animatronics underwater, nor is it the fear of shipwrecks. It's every man-made thing you can think of.
Yeah.
From flooded abandoned buildings to shipwrecks, to lost ancient civilizations far below our depths. Submechanophobia, though initially an odd fear, is perfectly explainable, and makes sense after you really analyze what makes people fear man-made objects underwater. It's no wonder why submechanophobia has so many people backing it up on sites like Reddit and YouTube.
Yeah, I start to understand.
Aquatic themes, or viewing an image of a shipwreck in the pitch blackness of the ocean, and you feel a little bit creeped out. Just remember, maybe it's not the water that scares you. Maybe it's the viewing of our creations in the domain of the water. A domain that might as well be another world. A world we were never meant to visit. A world where our mere existence trespassing in it is terrifying.
Hell yeah.
Our creations, try as they like, can never truly breach the horrors of the water.
Exactly. That was well put at the end. That was very well put. Exactly what I tried to explain. It's just, no. Don't challenge it. Don't challenge nature. Or you end up as a statistic in these cases. Damn. No, but that was very, very interesting. So now I know about another phobia I heard about but didn't know a lot about in general. And Crescendix explained it to us and I'm happy. And I'm gonna have nightmares of these animatronics underwater because some of them are exactly the thing I don't like. Murky waters with something that kind of resembles something you know. Like for example a shark, but then it looks distorted and disgusting and weird, and seeing eyes underwater in general is just ugh. No, I really did not like the last couple pictures. So I guess I have some form of it. I guess it's probably just more like fear of pareidolia, if that makes sense. You know, being afraid of my brain making up stuff in weird vague shapes and making it even more terrifying than it would probably actually be, you know? Yeah. But anyway, that was a really good video. I really enjoyed it. I talked for way too long, once again. But that definitely speaks to Crescendix's strength if he is able to make me talk this much for a 17-minute long video. God damn it, Crescendix, you've done it again. So yeah, I really enjoyed that. I hope you enjoyed it too, and hopefully you learned alongside with me more about the different kinds of phobias that are out there. I'm definitely interested in seeing more of these types of videos, so I'm gonna put some more of these specific videos into my playlist at some point, and yeah. Alright, but before I end this video, like always, go into the video description, click the first link in the video description under the credits tab to get to the original video by Crescendix. Leave him a like, leave him a comment, tell him if I could live in the pool worlds, I'd be happy. Pool core, more like poop core. Scurvy, shivery tempers, I am Blackbeard. Tell him that, even though that made no sense. And obviously subscribe to him, he deserves it. I mean, if you were unable to decide whether or not Crescendix is worth subscribing for, I'm pretty sure after this video, you definitely know the answer now. And the answer is yes, subscribe to the man, support him. Tell him something nice in the comments. Give him a lot of likes on his videos. Support him. I really enjoy his content and I hope he continues making awesome content like that in the future. And yeah. Alright, before I continue with my outro talk, let's write a nice comment myself. Awesome video. Oh, hold on. Awesome video. Once again, you've done it, Crescendex. A highly informative and interestingly terrifying concept explored successfully. I really love your videos. Keep up the good work, bro. You're doing an awesome job. And let's take an emoji. Let's take the ooh one. The ooh, fascinating. All right, comment that. Here it is. Awesome. I love it. I love it. Alright, and in my comment section down below, tell me what you want me to react to next. Maybe another video by Crescendex, maybe by someone else, maybe about something else, for something else. You name it, I'll do it. Just tell me, alright? But try to make it specific, like for example, give me a video title or something like that, because if it's about a topic I'm unfamiliar with, I don't know what to look out for, right? I don't know what's good and what isn't. I'm not omniscient, I'm just a guy. A guy that is a powerful fish, and I'm cute as fuck. Yeah. Or I can pick up something myself, like I've been doing mostly on this channel so far, and so far I think I'm doing a really good job. I'm surprising myself every single time I manage to pick out a random video and it's actually really good, yeah. Or I can do both. Just let me know which one you prefer and I'm happy to oblige either way. Alright, this has been the Small Penis Man. Small Penis Man out. Alright, we got thalassophobia. We got submechanophobia. We got other kinds of phobias. Now we need the penis underwater phobia, especially the huge penis underwater phobia. Now that would be that would be scary. That would be really scary because big dicks are bad. We all know that they're dangerous. They're monstrous. They're fucking abominations. And seeing a giant one underwater. Oof. No, that's a phobia I could relate to if it existed. So someone make it a thing, please. We need to show these big dicks their place. We need to show them where they belong. Underwater, being feared. Fucking big dicks, big, giant, pulsating cocks all around me. In the dark, murky waters. Damn. Damn. That's terrifying. That's the most terrifying thing I've ever thought of. Damn. Gonna have nightmares. Bye.